Cubs lose to the Dodgers, and Jameson Taillon hits the IL. We talk about it all next.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Our Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Please support the show and be a part of the Locked On Cubs community by following on all audio platforms. And you can watch, subscribe, and leave a comment on YouTube. Thanks so much for making us your first listen. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. Today's episode here on a Friday is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed with Game Time. And we continue this week of everydayers who are with us each and every day. We debuted that earlier this week, and we keep getting some awesome responses. You can let us know you're an everydayer if you haven't yet by adding your own comment on YouTube or hitting us up on Twitter. The Cubs lose to the Dodgers 6-2 on Thursday night. A lot of things went wrong in this one, Sam, and we're going to break it all down now.
Yeah, there's two parts of the loss. It's a frustrating one. It feels like, well, it's true. I mean, the last two losses for the Cubs have just been tough. They've been tough to stomach. They've been to the same team.
Mm-hmm.
There's two parts of this loss you and I were discussing off air. There's the one part where Willie Harris has a bad send that totally kills a rally. You have a couple guys on, nobody out with your best hitter up against lefties. He rolls into a very rare double play. He doesn't hit the ball on the ground much. There was a lot of lineouts today, I thought, too, where it's like, all right, it's one of those days, which for the offense, it just was. Just you need to score more than 2 runs tonight to win, right?
Right.
But there also is a problem brewing here, and that's Michael Fulmer. And, he was paid to be a high leverage reliever for the Cubs. He has struggled in the 9th inning in the past, and he's struggling there now. And the irony is, and this is such a weird baseball quirk, but it's just how it goes. When you're a tweener team like the Cubs are, right? You don't know if you're good. You think you're good going into the year. And you have some holes. And I think it's safe to say right now, one of their holes is figuring out what to do with the 9th inning. The way to improve that is by winning a bunch of games. So by the trade deadline, you can make a trade like that, right? But
exactly.
the hardest part is it's hard to win a bunch of games when you have a hole like that. So it's like, it's kind of this push-pull tug, right? The Cubs were not a serious World Series contender, in my opinion, in 2016 until they traded for Aroldis Chapman. You have to have a guy like that in October. And the Cubs don't right now. There might be one that emerges through the team. Who knows? I always thought it'd be Alzolay. I just don't think Ross trusts him enough versus lefties. I mean, even today, he takes him out after 1 inning because lefties were due up and he wanted to go to Hughes, and Hughes was phenomenal. But, I would have kind of just liked to see Alzolay go there so you had more options late. But that was my takeaway. My takeaway from this loss is the Cubs have an issue with Fulmer. They want him to be the guy, clearly, unless there's a bunch of lefties due up in the 9th so Boxberger or Leiter could pitch. I'm assuming Leiter was down today or else he would have been used.
Right.
And that's an issue. And I thought the game Saturday night where he blew the game against the Dodgers was a little bit unlucky. Tonight was just bad pitching. The first hit by Peralta was ridiculous. That ball almost hit him. He bloops it to right. Correct. Then he gives a hit, and then he walks Jason Hayward in a high leverage spot. And then once he went 3-ball to Outman, you could have booked the game. I don't know. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. That's my takeaway on it. I just know as a fan, like the easiest takeaway I can make is how I feel as a fan. And when this team is up a run going into the 9th inning, I do not feel comfortable. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not a good feeling at all. Hayward was definitely the turning point of that frame.
Right.
Got just a ton of bad vibes after that. And he even battled for a few pitches. It wasn't just like 3-2 and he walked.
Sure.
Fulmer just couldn't get the guy out.
And that's a problem.
It's a big problem. And, usually if you are a contending team and you feel like, okay, we're evaluating that we need a closer, right? yeah, you have a void technically, but you've obviously gotten to the point of contention with somebody.
Sure.
But right now, with this ball club, you just don't even know who to, put your chips on.
Sure.
I think there is candidates in the current pen. There might even be candidates in Des Moines to an extent.
Right.
I don't know if you want to throw that type of responsibility at a rookie or not.
Right.
Although you could also make a case for a while, as we pull up a stool to our Cubs bar here, that this is the year where maybe an Estrada or a Sanders or somebody could pitch the ninth.
Sure.
I'm not sure. I'd have to reflect on it a little more. But Boxberger wasn't good tonight either.
No, he was not.
I thought he was somewhat of an escape artist that inning.
He got lucky.
And Fulmer was bad again. His ERA is well over 4 now.
No, over 7.
Over 7. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I totally misspoke.
Well,
it was close to 4 entering the game.
Yeah, when you have a 4-run outing in April, it's going to get high.
That's going to go up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just a disappointing game. I was confused about Alzolay. I would like to see some post-game comments from Ross on that. Although he can now pitch, Friday or Saturday. He doesn't have to put his gym shoes on now for a couple days.
Right.
Brandon Hughes, 2 perfect innings was great. Rucker was great.
Rucker is the guy to watch out for.
And all things considered, Assad limited damage. So really it was the 2 dudes.
Yeah.
The veterans that you paid.
Right.
That couldn't do it tonight.
Well, really Fulmer.
Right.
Yeah.
Boxberger was bad, bro.
No, he was bad. He hung 4 straight pitches to Trace Thompson.
And of course, later in this great program, we're going to talk about the starting pitching situation now with Taillon. But the bullpen right now is just it's a little more glaring than I.
Well, the thing is, sorry to cut you off. The thing is the bullpen's actually been as advertised. It's the 9th. Overall, Thompson's been fantastic. Alzolay's been very good. Leiter Jr. has been electric. Hughes has come up here and has been outstanding. Michael Rucker has been outstanding. Boxberger overall has been pretty good. It's really, I hate to, it's really one guy that's really struggling, and he's struggling in the 9th because you look at the games we've blown, and
you're right.
It's him. Everyone else is doing fine.
Wow. Yeah.
Who else is really, outside of Merriweather, who now is kind of a mop-up guy.
Low leverage guy.
I think Rutgers passed him up on the totem pole.
Oh, without question.
The 2 guys, the couple guys I look out for to get bigger responsibility now that Fulmer might take a low leverage spot, and he's not going to get DFA. They paid him, and it's not going to happen. And by the way, shout out to Mancini. By the way, that was a really nice game today. He had a couple. I thought he had the biggest hit of the game for the Cubs. We've been rough on him on the show, so Alzolay has the ability to close, but I don't the problem is it's Alzolay and Hughes are the 2 guys I could see closing, but they're both so extreme with Hughes against lefties, getting them out, and Alzolay versus righties. I think Ross would rather keep them at their specialties. Okay. So take a look at Rucker. I know you're kind of rolling your eyes a bit. He might get increased responsibility. My guess is they're just going to they're going to flip it and just let Boxberger probably pitch more 9th innings, but it is what it is. It happens. I don't want to dwell too much on it. Do I wish they signed a guy like Andrew Chafin and maybe instead of 11-7, you're 13-5? Sure. But they didn't get that done. And Fulmer was kind of Fulmer and Boxberger were like toe in the water relief signings. They're going to help shore up your pen, but they're not guys where it's like, we're up 1 in the 8th. This one's over. Boxberger and Fulmer time.
No, that's a good way to put it.
It was kind of just like, yeah, we're shoring this thing up. I think Keegan Thompson's a better reliever than both those guys. I think Alzolay and Hughes both are. I think Leiter is. But the problem is, like I said, some of those guys like Leiter too, they're specialists. Right. So you don't want if for example, just using, let's say tomorrow, you're up 1 in the 9th and you haven't used Leiter yet, but Martinez, Vargas, and what other good righty they have is due up, he's not going to want to use him. So
that's true.
It's a conundrum. Yeah, it's a conundrum. Ross will, and no, that was not a Ross mistake today. Sure, he could have pulled him for Outman, but for who? If Leiter Jr. is not available, who are you going to bring in? Merriweather?
There's no one to bring in.
With the bases loaded? Nah, this is
that's
Fulmer.
his inning to win or lose, fam.
That's his inning. He's a veteran guy. He's got to be better. And he wasn't. And he knows it. And so there's nothing else to say, but hopefully that, it doesn't cost him some more games. And now they got their work cut out for him this weekend. So we'll see what happens.
2 missed opportunities offensively in this ball game. Second and third, no outs in the bottom of the fourth. Got only the 1 run.
Yeah, bad send.
Willie Harris sent Trey Mancini.
Let's just talk about it for a sec as a coach. You have one of your slowest runners on base, and coming up is Dansby Swanson with 1 out. 2 outs, I'm fine with the send. 2 outs, I'm fine with the send.
That's different.
Yeah, because it's a different structure. 1 out, ooh, was that a bad send?
Yeah, 0 or 1 out versus 2 outs, totally different.
Right.
And you got to hold them up there.
No,
you got to put up the stop sign, let Horner go to work.
And Ian Happ had a rough day.
Yeah, he did.
Hitting the ball on the ground a lot the second. And then the next spot was the
bottom 8.
Yeah.
First and second, no outs. Wisdom grounded into a double play.
First and second, no outs off a walk and an 0-2 left on left hit by pitch. I mean, just gifts.
2 freebies.
And Wisdom got a pitch to hit there. Just wasn't their night. It just is what it is.
Wasn't their night.
Just wasn't their night.
So the Cubs are now 11-7.
Yeah, you got a quick turnaround tomorrow. Very tough pitching.
Day game after a night game.
Very tough pitching matchup. Drew Smiley's been awesome. I think lefties give this Dodger team, just by the way they're designed with Muncy and Freeman, a little bit more trouble. Hang in there,
and that's what they did Sunday.
Yeah, try and now a split becomes absolutely what you're hoping for. You can get a split now. You feel good about it. To win 3 out of 4 in this series, you need to win game 1. That's just simple math. You're not going to beat Urias, May, and Kershaw 3 straight. If they do, I'll come on the show and I'll have the broom back out, even though it's not a sweep. How's that?
Sounds good. We'll hold you to that.
Yeah.
Coming up next, perhaps the Cubs had some unfortunate outcomes or results before we even knew it. There was a rain delay, and even before that, there was news about a starting pitcher going to the IL. So maybe it really wasn't their day from the start. We're going to find out who that is, what the injury is, and who might step up. Coming up next. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Buying tickets to your favorite event shouldn't be stressful. Game Time is the fast an easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event, and sometimes even minutes before. And you can find tickets in the same section and roll for less, depending on the price you get. Game Time will guarantee that price as well. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. And terms do apply. Again, creating an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. To download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Welcome back to Locked On Cubs. Thanks for making us your first listen. Promos for this very program soon to be running during live play-by-play at Cubs games on SiriusXM, and you can catch every pitch of the Cubs hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app by searching Cubs. Jameson Taillon to the 15-day IL with a groin strain, which was suffered while playing catch on Wednesday in Oakland. Unfortunate because Taillon was starting to get sharper as the season progressed here. So far, he posted a 4.50 ERA with 16 strikeouts against only 4 walks in 14 innings. It's really the first bump in the road for the Northsiders this year, and 100% the first test of the pitching depth.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. It came out of nowhere because it had to have come quickly, or else Ross wouldn't have used Thompson yesterday in a 4-run lead in Oakland.
Right.
So it was something that happened recently, and that's tough. I mean, they had to deal with the Suzuki thing. This is tough because Hendricks isn't ready yet. So, and clearly the confidence with Assad isn't there, as he, was a 3-inning guy today. So your team's kind of built around these, the unique thing the Cubs have is they have multiple guys that can pitch multiple innings out of the pen. Now that takes away your flexibility. If Assad, for the next couple starts that he has, and oh, by the way, his next start's going to be against the Padres, is only a 3-inning guy, then you're going to burn through your bullpen. So it puts a lot more pressure on a guy like Smiley. What if Smiley tomorrow goes 5 shutout and then gives up 4 in the 6th? And it's like, well, if Taillon wasn't hurt, he probably wouldn't even pitch the 6th. So, domino things like that are hurtful, but this is part of the business. People deal with injuries. The Cubs should be all right. They've given themselves some cushion at 11-7 where they can handle something like this. It's happening at a bad time because it's Dodgers, Padres. That's just it's a tough stretch.
Well, and how about happening the day of his actual start?
Yeah, exactly. And then announcing the day of his start. I thought Assad came in there and did a fine job. He gave up 2 solo homers to 2 lefties that are going to hit a lot of solo homers against a lot of righties. But yeah, it's unfortunate. Taillon's tweet put me off a little bit just because it kind of didn't sound like a 10-day thing in that tweet. I don't want to play Sherlock Holmes, but it just didn't sound. It sounded like a guy that's gonna, hopefully be back. I don't know, in a couple of weeks, I would hope, but who knows?
I was thinking like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's a big part of this team. Big offseason signings, like you said, was pitching better than his numbers said. So hopefully it's not one of those things where, he hopefully can come back and find his rhythm again. So
I wanted to go through some candidates beside Assad to possibly get a start, especially if it is an extended absence.
Sure. Let's do it.
I was wondering about Adrian Sampson.
Yeah, I don't think so.
ERA over 8 at AAA, and he just went on the IL also.
Yeah, and who knows if that's
out.
Who knows if that's an actual injury or, hey man, your ERA is over 8 in Iowa, what's going on type injury. Right.
Other iCubs pitchers who have made starts so far this spring: Nick Neidert with a 5.23 ERA, Ronas Elias 5.28, and Caleb Killian 7.15. Although he allowed 8 runs on 9 hits in his first start of the year, and he has really improved since, only allowing 1 run on 7 hits on his last 2 outings spanning 9 innings. So maybe something to keep an eye on. And then the pitcher with by far the best ERA as a starter right now down there for the iCubs is somebody who threw Thursday night, Riley Thompson, who now has an ERA down at 2.77. So maybe we get out the magnifying glass this week and zoom in a little more on him.
Yeah.
Because maybe they do swap out Assad. Also, prior to Friday's 120 game, do they swap out Assad anyway for somebody for more of a regular bullpen piece like an Estrada?
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, I think after how bad Killian was last year in a couple of those starts, and this team with a lot of eyes on him, I just don't think he's ready for that yet, especially against the Padres. Like, that's not fun. My guess is Assad will be the guy against the Padres. Yep. We'll see. It depends how long Taillon's out. I mean, if he's out a long time, you might just speed up Hendricks. I mean, I saw a report today that he's just getting ramped up. So.
Yep. So Hendricks is throwing 3 innings at extended spring Saturday, and then he might go out to rehab after that.
And this is a rough day today that you're going to have over the course of 162 plus off days. It's just how it works. Injuries happen.
It's a long year.
Tough losses happen. That's why the games that you feel good about. And I could speak for most Cub fans. I think everybody's happy with the start. Going into today, top run differential in the NL, and at 11-6, it just shows you the only thing that when I put my head on the pillow here in a few minutes, by the way, that I will just be frustrated is it's just a lot. I would say 3 or 4 of the losses have felt either avoidable or ones we should have had. And it's a testament to the team. They've really only had the finale against the Brewers, the finale against the Rangers, and the finale against the Mariners are the only games it was like, all right, they didn't have it today, should have lost. The other losses, game 2 against Milwaukee, game 1 against Cincy, game 2 against LA, game 1 against LA today, all 4 of those games you felt like
had questionable moments.
Yeah, that was a game we should have had. And so that's frustrating, but that's how it works. Like
Sure.
it is what it is. And the reason I'm more calm now than I was, say, 2-3 weeks ago is I have a lot more confidence in this team. And so especially that with the way Mancini hit today, that is a huge development. Especially not to hit the right field, but that double over the left fielder's head.
Yes.
That if he could get going a little bit, it changes the whole complexion of this team, because Cody Bellinger is locked in. And he's in, and I don't judge him. He's got to face Urias and Kershaw this weekend, left on left. So it might be tough. But versus righties, I mean, he is not missing, man. And that is it's a real development now with him. So let's get Hap going and see what happens tomorrow.
He's been the best player in baseball.
No, I know. This is a weird day for Hap. These like soft hits to second. And now I hate that we got to flip everybody. I hate Urias and Kershaw. I mean, that's tough, man.
Right.
That's tough. Leave us alone. Give us Patrick.
Go back to Los Angeles.
Why can't we face Bumgarner?
Yeah. Well, maybe you could face him at the Home Depot parking lot or something.
I'd like to face Patrick Corbin.
Yeah.
Why can't we face him?
Well, they play the Nationals in a couple weeks.
God, these games are so high leverage, and the Dodgers need to win games. Like, these are big games for them.
Right. And because the season's so long, by the way, that's why I'm really jacked up after the wins.
Right.
I really want to celebrate those because it's such a long year.
Yeah, and this Outman's a problem.
Yeah, he is.
I mean,
is that an athletic kid?
No, I might buy him a first class ticket to get out of here Sunday.
Right.
I'm starting to get tired of him.
Yeah, leave a day early.
I mean, where are the Dodgers? They just find this guy. He's leading off, playing center field. He looks like Stan Musial. I'm so sick of these guys.
We're going to talk some Cubs prospects, specifically the three big name outfielders that are healthy and playing right now. We check in on their very early season numbers coming up next. Today's episode is also brought to you by Ultimate Pro Baseball GM, the coolest game we've played in a long time. And if you had the thought or the fantasy about managing your own baseball franchise, you can do it with this game. This game allows you to manage every strategic aspect of a team, and it's all in a challenging and realistic game world. Ultimate Pro Baseball GM is completely free and playable offline, playable on the go, as you want to and when you want to. Locked On Cubs listeners get a 100% free boost to their franchise when using the promo Locked On in the game store. So make sure to check it out. To download the game, just visit probaseballgm.com, scan the code, or look it up in the App Store, Apple or Google Play. probaseballgm.com for Ultimate Pro Baseball GM to start your dynasty today. You're tuned in to Locked On Cubs as we're in the last part of the program here on a Friday. Thank you whenever and wherever you may be listening, as it was just a giant week on the show, audio and video, and we're very appreciative and thankful for that. Down 100%. On the farm, let's go low to high here in terms of averages, unfortunately. Brennan Davis at AAA hitting 163.
Not good.
288 on base.
Oh, God.
Kevin Alcantara at high A. 196.
Oh, no.
255 on base. And Pete Crow Armstrong, AA Tennessee, hitting 343 with a 395 on base. Those are the three big names right now in the system positionally.
That'll play.
And just wanted to update on that, really.
Yeah. Davis isn't trending in a good direction, and a lot of it's been injuries. So hopefully he can get right.
And that's among guys who are just red hot down there.
PCA
in that lineup.
PCA looks terrific. Not overly concerned with Alcantara. Just real quick, Matt, as you were reading that, I was on Twitter. Michael Fulmer quote after this game. I don't know what's going on, but I better figure it out pretty bleep quick.
Oh, wow.
End quote. I like that. I like that accountability.
That's good.
And I think he's going to figure it out. I just don't know if the 9th is for him.
Correct.
And it's before we get off the air.
That quote.
And before we get off the air, it's so funny because the analytical people hate this, right? This is a huge wrestling topic. You don't need a closer. Just put your best pitcher in the highest leverage spot. And, there's some truth to that and there's not. But you got to have a guy, to me, that you feel good about in the 9th inning, that feels good about being there. It's a different vibe than the 7th and the 8th. It's
totally.
Every single person in the world, whether they are playing sports or living life, is a different person when their life, if you will, is on the line. And in the 9th inning, when you have 3 outs to go and you're down, you're going to put together your best plate appearances, because if you don't, you lose. So it makes it the hardest inning to pitch.
Totally.
And, it is what it is. I have nothing against Michael Fulmer. I hope he figures it out. He's got great stuff. So tough day. Move on to tomorrow. See if we can upset Urias for the second time in a week and get back on track.
Smiley, Urias, Wisniewski, May, and Stroman, Kershaw, all 120 starts. And we'll be back here on Monday recapping it all and more here on the show. So stay with us throughout the weekend and tune back in on Monday. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for Locked On Cubs on YouTube and smash the like button on all your favorite Locked On Cubs content. Let's see what that looks like live here. We got new graphics, folks. Wow. Very nice. Very nice. Looks really good. So smash the like button for the algorithm, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your pods on the audio side, and streaming soon on Sirius XM. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.